Mike, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Taylor.
Thanks for being brave enough.
Thanks for inviting me to do this. This is
what is hopefully the first of a tradition of hot sauce challenges for our department.
Yeah, I after you told me about this, I went and watched a bunch of the videos on YouTube, and that's pretty funny.
Well, I'm so excited you're willing to do it. Let's just dive right in. My very first question for you: How do you do with hot food?
I do hot food, not so well. As I tell people, I've got a 6-year-old son, and he does better with hot food than I do. So this is going to be rough.
Well, we should be safe. We've got napkins. We've got delicious chicken wings, vegan chicken wings.
Yep.
We've got milk.
I'm not sure these are chicken wings or not, but yeah. Oh well, we'll call it that.
A vehicle for sauce.
Yeah.
And then we've got back here going front row. We've got mildest, increasing spiciness to the back row where it gets really dangerous. Yeah. Moving all the way to the last dab. I guess the last dab Apollo.
Yeah.
All right, man.
Should we get going?
Yeah.
Here?
Cheers.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not sure how this is going to go, but maybe probably best to just kind of
dip some on there.
Yeah, just kind of. I don't want to be too much of a wimp. Okay, there you go.
I'm excited to try these. I am a longtime watcher of the show. First time actually to try these.
Yeah, so this one's 2 out of 10. It shouldn't be that. Okay, shouldn't be that bad. Yeah.
All right. Cheers.
Try it. That first one was not bad at all.
That was actually pretty pleasant. I didn't mind that at all.
Yeah, I put that on my wings or whatever I'm eating.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right, Mike, so you are a transplant to Salt Lake City.
I am.
You've been here a couple years now.
Been here 8 years.
8 years?
Yes.
It's a long time.
I know.
So by now, you've got to have some favorites. What's the best restaurant in town?
It's tough. That's a tough thing to say. I mean,
it's by category, right?
It seems like it evolves with time. It's like when I lived in Idaho, I loved to the Himalayan kitchen downtown. And since I've come, I love Indian food, but since I've live here, and I live in Murray, I never want to drive to downtown for dinner.
Bombay House, it's so good.
Bombay House is
Catch
good,
it on your way home from work.
It is so popular. It is so crowded, especially on Saturday nights or something. It's now I really like India House, which is a little farther down on State Street. Yeah,
okay,
I like it. But I also then I got here, I really got into Moochie's. Have you ever eaten there?
I've not tried it. I've heard of it.
It's pretty good. So it's a sub place, and I love the eggplant parmesan because I'm vegetarian. But then a couple 2-3 years ago, one of the servers told me, "Oh, you know that we cook the meatballs in the marinara that we use for the eggplant." I'm like, wait a second, what do you do that for?
That's why it was so good.
Yeah, apparently that was why it was so good. So now I do Moochie's. Now there's a really good Vietnamese restaurant that's close to my house called Pho Saigon. It's really cheap, and they've got a giant menu of vegetarian food. And I love the banh mi and
so good.
some of the spring rolls and stuff. So I don't know, it varies. My son loves to go to Red Robin, and I kind of like it.
Simple taste, man. That's all right.
Yeah, so it's kind of all over the place. I love another great red Mediterranean place is O Falafel and in Sugar House. It's off 21st South.
I haven't tried that place.
Yeah, go there. It's really good. So it's my favorite Mediterranean or Greek I don't know, Middle Eastern. It's all kind of hummus and falafel and stuff.
Killer.
So
let's try another one,
I don't know, man. Okay.
What's next on our list?
So we handled that.
Garlic and peppercini.
Yeah, I think Joshua said that was his favorite. So.
Green, a little bit hotter. Oh gosh, that comes out pretty liquid.
Pretty low viscosity there. Okay,
yeah, for sure.
Okay. Keep that in mind. I don't want to over dab. Yeah, that's pretty liquidy. Okay.
All right, cheers.
All right, cheers. Let's see here. Sweet.
That one is super good. I would legit buy that and eat that.
I think I'm going to finish that wing. That wing. Oh, okay. I got this. I can handle. Don't even need any water yet.
Dabbing like a champion. No problems yet.
Yeah, we should probably give credit to the pie for supplying our wings, and I have these special vegan wings, whatever they're. As I admitted earlier, I don't know what they're made out of, but but they're pretty good.
Well, all right. You are the chair of the Department of Material Science and Engineering.
Yeah, it's an honor.
But as a background, your background was chemical engineering, is that right?
It is, yes.
So I want to know, what's the hardest class? Like, I could tell you what our students fear when it comes to undergraduate class. What's the hardest one? But in chemical engineering, what's the scariest, hardest class that you take?
In chemical engineering, it's probably transport phenomena. I mean, at least for me. I mean, getting into fluid mechanics and a lot of sort of vector calculus was a little bit rough for me. So I've struggled in transport phenomena amongst my major, but I also struggled in other classes too, like organic chemistry. It really, and that was like my only C, I think, when I was in an undergrad. And even like so I transferred to Caltech for my sophomore year, and I thought I was just awesome at math. You know, I had taken AP calculus, got the BC 5 in the BC. Went to Florida Institute of Technology for my freshman year. Took differential equations. Took calculus. All of a sudden I'm just moving right through. And then I go to sophomore math at Caltech, and I'm just like, what is this?
Oh yeah.
This guy Tommy Apostle taught the class, and it was his textbook, and it was like linear algebra or something, and I just could not. I struggled, and in fact I had to like drop the class and then like take it again my senior year to get through it. I don't know. I just could not grasp it. It was something totally different, abstract to me.
When I was in grad school, I took a class called solid mechanics, and I felt bad because my advisor's really good at mechanics. That was his jam, but that wasn't my research area. And so I took it because he's like, oh, you ought to take solid mechanics. And it's the only class I ever had to drop. It was so hard. The whole time, I had no idea what was happening. It was completely Greek to me, so I sympathize.
Yeah.
So. All right, let's try another wing.
So we got next here.
We have the Hellfire hot sauce roasted. Oh, this is Reaper. Oh gosh.
So what's the rating? What's the rating?
So this one is 4 out of 10.
Okay, well, it shouldn't be too much worse. I can't wait to dive into this chocolate milkshake. So.
I'm taking it a little more easy on this. I'm a little more cautious. Okay. There you go.
All right.
Roasted Reaper. That escalated quickly.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah. Starting to.
Okay, well, not as bad as that.
Starting to bite a little bit.
That one's pretty good, actually.
I mean, that's the thing. If I were to eat a lot of it, I would start complaining. I'll take a drink of water with that one.
All right. Next question. You ready?
Yeah.
I want to know, what's your favorite class of materials, or maybe you got a favorite crystal structure?
Zeolites.
Zeolites?
Yeah, so I brought my structure here. So this is the zeolite A structure. Okay, so
how do they name those? I always see these funky names on those things.
I don't know.
Any idea of the nomenclature?
There's a whole society to that, and yeah, I don't know. I never actually went to any of the zeolite meetings, but so it's made out of silicon and aluminum connected by oxygen. In the case of zeolite 4A, this is about a 4 angstrom pore. And I used it, my first job out of grad school was working at Argonne National Laboratory, and we were looking at using this to absorb these radioactive salts, like nuclear waste, and put it in. And I worked on zeolites as well for my PhD project as for catalyst. So I don't know, I think they're cool because they're so simple. I like simple materials. This is why I don't like organic materials or biomaterials, because it's like I can't even name them. But this is like, okay, there's silicon, there's aluminum, there's oxygen. Okay, the bond links are such and such, and the pores are such and such. Oh, well, okay, fine. And then the only thing that you modify about them is you modify the amount of aluminum in them, or you exchange some cations in them, and then you can kind of tune their properties.
Now, these they make them mostly, well, I'm ignorant, but I think every time I've ever heard them talked about it, they said that they made it via hydrothermal synthesis. Are you familiar with that? Is that how you made them? Or is there other ways that they make them? Yeah,
I learned, like, my first year of grad school, I spent some time with, I went to Princeton for grad school. I went back to Caltech. Mark Davis, who has a zeolite group there, he invited me to come back and kind of spend a couple weeks with his group learning methods like characterization and synthesis. So I learned how do you mix up the gels and stuff, and you put in these little Teflon liners, and you put them in these bombs and do the hydrothermal synthesis. Yeah, you just cook them for a while, and and then you use different types of like templating. I forgot what the word used for them. There's different kind of organic templates that they kind of crystallize around.
Oh, they add seeds?
Yeah, you can, but it's a little bit different. This kind of directs the structure. It's like you can kind of create different structures by. It's kind of like a scaffolding, I think. Anyways, anybody knows about zeolites is saying I'm saying this all wrong, but basically they're like crown ethers, I think, like crown ethers that you would put in, and then you eventually burn them off. You just calcine it and get rid of them. But some of the fancier ones, you have to add that in order to kind of direct the structure.
Very cool.
But
there's a guy, it's at a primarily undergrad institute. His name's Alex Norquist, and he got this Nature paper, which is great. And I can't remember the title of it. I'll have to look it up. But it was something like Dark Reactions, where the idea is a lot of times when they make these things, you just sort of put it in the bomb, right? And you heat it up, and maybe you change the concentrations. But it's a lot of just guess and check. Try something, see what comes out. And they had this clever idea of tracking not just what worked, but what didn't work. And then they fed that into a machine learning algorithm. And all of a sudden, by taking advantage of what didn't work, they got a way better recipe for figuring out what would work, which I think is so cool because we get so tunnel vision on what works in material science that we don't learn from the mistakes.
It's amazing that you get some publications on what doesn't work because no one wants to ever publish that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think there's sometimes I tell my groups like, yeah, even though that didn't work, you need to.
Someone else might make the same mistake.
In fact, actually, current paper. So one of my PhD students, Wan Zhang, who she finished up last year, trying to get one of her papers through the Journal of Electrochemical Society. I just say, we tried to use electrochemical method to measure uranium concentration in the salt.
Yeah.
And I say by all measures, we failed. It didn't work. But I want to publish it because I want to explain why we think it didn't work.
Yeah, if you had a good hypothesis, then a null result shouldn't matter. Test a good hypothesis, do it well, but if you get a null result, that's just science.
Yeah. So we don't.
I like that.
There's a lot of things about the way we approach things in academia I don't really like, but that's probably one of them.
All right, on that note, let's try Los Calientes. This is from the Hot Ones, it's one of their own.
All right.
Excited to try this one out. Drizzle some on there. There you go.
Okay. 5 out of 10, right there.
5 out of 10, it's heating up.
Right there in the middle.
Heating up. I'm curious at what point, I love this green habanero sauce at home. I eat it on everything. Curious where it lies on here. I'm guessing we might be reaching it.
Tastes good.
That was a really good sauce.
I feel that hot. Maybe it'll sneak up on me. I wish I could be as entertaining as someone like Will Ferrell or Kevin Hart or somebody who's on there, and they just like, or that what's this guy? I forgot the one guy, the hip hop guy who does like the cowboy song. What's his name?
I don't even know.
Oh yeah, he sings with.
Wildly entertaining though.
Yeah. I don't know. He was really good. Anyway, I don't. Another subject I don't know anything about, so I'm not gonna talk.
I know that show tends towards rap artists, and I don't listen to any rap. So they're interesting people, but I have no idea what they're talking about half the time. Yeah. My next question for you, though. You have any hobbies?
Yeah, I run a lot.
You like to run?
Yeah.
Like marathon? Like what level of run? Because people say that, and I don't know what to expect. Are you a trail runner? Like a mile or two
trail marathon? Trails are fun, but I always fall. I'm like tripping on my feet and like I'll. I'm always just getting my foot stuck on something, and then I end up like blooding up half my body. So I try to not do trails too much.
So mostly road.
Mostly road. Half marathons up to full marathon. I've done about a dozen full marathons, and I got another one coming up in about 10 days.
In 10 days, I hope you've recovered from this. I hope this doesn't.
I hope I will recover from it. Running and then rock climbing. I guess I've done both over the last 12 years or so is kind of when I got into both of those. I had a buddy we lived in Idaho who got me into both. And, Yeah, I see climbing as just it's like a fun recreation. Like,
It doesn't feel like exercise, does it?
It
It's
does,
just
it
a
does,
good
and I
time.
don't get too serious about the grade or like
Yeah,
I'm kind of a 5'8", 5'9"
Yeah, get out to have a good
climber.
time.
I just go out there and have a good time and stay safe. But yeah, outdoor stuff. I mean, I also do some mountain biking with my wife and some skiing and.
Couldn't pick a better spot for it.
That's why I'm in Utah. I mean.
I go backcountry skiing in the morning, start my meetings at 9 a.m. I'm already gone and back by then. It's right so close to home. And then if you want to, you can catch a sunset along the Bonneville Shoreline Trail for mountain biking. It is just, unique in the world, the sort of opportunities you have right here in our backyard.
Yeah. Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
It's hard enough to get out.
They're getting crowded.
Yeah.
All right, let's try our next wing. We are
Okay.
up to, what's this one called? Tears of the Sun. Doesn't sound promising.
No. Oh, so what this
one over there.
Yeah, here we go. Okay. Let's see. And this was a rate of 6 out of 10. So we're continuing to raise the stakes. Okay, there you go.
Okay, 6 out of 10. Caribbean style ghost pepper. Oh gosh. Here we go.
I
Put a couple
think
drops on
Josh was
there.
going to give us some foreshadowing. Yeah.
That was definitely a few drops on that one.
Tastes good. So far, not too bad.
That was pretty good. But I was afraid of that one. I'm feeling all right.
Yeah, well. Man, I think I might actually be able to do this. Still can't avoid having a little bit of chocolate milkshake.
All right, Mike, something I'm going to ask next is something that people don't know about you probably.
Don't know about me. Well, I mean, one thing is that when I was coming out of high school, I couldn't get into any colleges.
Really?
Yeah. I had applied. Was a senior in high school. I'd applied to MIT, Princeton, and Yale, and I was a pretty good student. I was like a salutatorian in my school. I thought
You did well.
well, and hey, I'm applying to multiple options. I got rejected by all three of them. And ended up like having to do kind of a last ditch. Like I went to Florida Tech, Florida Institute of Technology for the first year and said, okay, well, I got to go someplace. And here I was like in the spring of my senior year, just like, had no place to go. And since then I've done pretty well for myself, but it's not all been success.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder, people get so hung up on schools and rankings that I just increasingly want to tell students, just go wherever, go to a decent place and do really well, and you'll be just fine. I think that's
I think the
good
recent,
advice.
college admission scandals kind of shone a light on how
Yeah.
unhealthy the fascination is now. And I think if I would look back on it now, I probably wouldn't care so much. I think the only thing that really made those places stand out, I ended up transferring to Caltech the next year, so I did fine and really, really happy that I went there. But it's just that the ability of the students that go to these places is just is the highest. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So you're just raising the bar of the difficulty and the expectations. So
Yeah.
and there's nothing wrong with that, but I think students need to understand that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a better school.
Yeah, not at all.
They're just
Not at all.
they just got better classmates.
When I went to grad school, I started at UCSB, and then my advisor switched halfway through. Right, 2 years in,
wow.
I get this phone call one day, and it's like, so we're moving. If you can come if you want, you can stay with me or you can come. And he was moving to Harvard, which, for material science is not as good as UCSB, not even close. But your average person doesn't know that. And so people were like, oh, congratulations. And I remember feeling a little bit bummed because I was so happy out there. But I was a little bit curious. It's like, all right, let's see what these Harvard kids are like. Are they really that clever? So I was a TA for Intro to Newtonian Mechanics Physics. And I was so curious, like, are they going to be so smart? They're just like anybody. They're like students here. Like, there were some differences a little bit, but by and large, it was the same exact students, which was kind of refreshing to see, like, you know what? You can excel wherever you want, I think.
Yeah. And that's what my dad was telling me when I was in high school, and he wanted me to go to Florida State because I was from Florida.
Sure.
And I'm like, no, I'm not going to Florida State. I was just like,
Too good for that.
No. But,
Yeah.
anyway, yeah, that's the thing. It's, I've had some bumps along the way, but I just kept moving forward, and,
Cool.
and I'm happy to be here. I don't care. I wouldn't care to go to Caltech or MIT now. It's like, this is a great place to be.
It is a great place to be. All right, I'll toast to that. Let's try our next one. What's it called?
I forgot which one. So which one did we just do?
This one right here.
Is this one's next?
What's that say?
Honey Badger?
Honey Badger. That doesn't bode well.
7 out of 10.
7 out.
We are getting.
It's been pretty doable so far. I may have spoken too soon.
Yeah, I do. Right now, I do have the lingering pain in my tongue.
Really?
It is.
The last one was tasty, I thought.
Yeah. Maybe it was like a delayed reaction.
Oh, that was a generous amount of sauce. All right, I'll match you.
Okay. Okay, I'll get the ice cream within reach.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, cheers.
Cheers.
It's probably going to keep building and building and building until it like
That one was significantly
strangles
hotter.
you. Yeah.
I'm feeling a little bit of sweat at this point.
It's uncomfortable. It's unpleasant.
Woo.
But, you know.
That was a step up for sure. I carefully not touch my eyeballs. I wipe. Woo.
Okay, so that was there. Okay, there's only 3 more and we're done.
Right, time for some water. That was hot.
Let's see what the effect of milk is. Does milk really help?
That make it a little better.
I don't know.
I watched a thing where they tried different stuff. They tried sweet. They tried acids like lemon juice. They tried alcohol. They tried dairy. And I think they said alcohol worked really well, but it just changed the flavor.
That surprised me.
And sweet actually was surprisingly good. Sweet was supposed to be pretty good on it.
Yeah, well, I figured soda would be really bad because you wouldn't want the bubbles and the carbonation.
That might not be pleasant.
Yeah, this is one of the ones where it's like it's not going away. It's just kind of hanging out.
That one's lingering. There's some unpleasantness on that one. All right, our next question for you. Tell me about the coolest part of your research.
Coolest part of my research. Okay, so my research is in molten salts, and so I think it's cool just because there's so many applications. You know, molten salts. You mix things like sodium chloride, lithium chloride, potassium chloride, these different compounds, chlorides, fluorides. You can, mix them in such a way they have a pretty low melting temperature, so they become a very useful.
What's low? A couple hundred degrees Celsius?
You can, but usually it's like 300 or 400 degrees. Okay, this is still bothering me. This is not good. Sorry.
That one's pretty hot.
Yeah, and so they well, here's the thing. So I got into molten salts in my last job, working at Argonne and Idaho National Laboratory. We were just using it for electrifying spent nuclear fuel. So separating uranium from fission products, lighting holes, things like that. God, this is still hurting me. So it's like electrolyte. So it's like replacements for water in an electrochemical cell. And you can run at high temperatures, and they have like a high solubility for things like uranium, plutonium, things that we work with in nuclear fuel. But when I came here, I'm like, okay, I'll keep working on that. But then I felt like, people are interested in using these as coolants for like solar energy systems, like this high temperature solar concentrated solar power.
Capacity? What is it?
Good heat capacity. It's a good fluid. You can take it to high temperature. You can get.
What about like fluid transport? Like, does viscosity come into play there?
They're pretty low viscosity. Thing is, what's your other options? Like oils only go up to maybe 400 degrees C. They start breaking down. So if you need to push probably up to 600, 700, 800 degrees to get good thermal conversion efficiency. And so your options
that really limits you. That's not a lot of materials.
It really limits you, right? You need a liquid. It's pretty low viscosity. Molten salts are great, except they're corrosive, and so most of the work right now is being done on looking at molten salts for solar energy. Is how do you
what holds it?
What kind of metals would you use, and how would you control the salt composition to prevent it from being corrosive, things like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
And then also now, the leading advanced nuclear reactor concept is a molten salt reactor. So you either use the salt as a coolant and or actually dissolve the fuel in salt and just circulate it around.
And the big benefit with these new next generation reactors is just higher temperatures and therefore higher efficiencies.
Higher temperature, safer.
Oh, and safer.
Yeah, so they can't melt down because they're already molten. Okay. So the system was already designed to be molten.
Gotcha.
And the worst thing that happens is they freeze and then basically they just stop. They stop, that's not such a bad thing. I mean, it's not good, but it's not.
But that means that it's not that hot. Otherwise, it wouldn't have frozen, right?
Yeah.
All right. Woo. How you doing? How you feeling?
Okay, but I'm gonna have to keep eating chocolate milkshake.
That last one was no joke.
That one was
a very different experience.
That was
the honey badger.
Honey badger. Okay.
Came out.
Yeah. Now it's the bomb. Yeah,
I've watched this show a lot.
I'll let you go first.
I have watched many episodes of this show, and this is universally the most hated sauce.
Okay. Just use a little bit.
This is now Da Bomb Evolution, which is probably not going to be better than the original Da Bomb. So I am going to not put a big dab on, but it will be a drop. Mm-hmm. Please don't go crazy. Nothing massive drop out of here. All right, I'll do a bigger drop than that. Okay, that could be a mistake. I'm told this one's hot, but also just horribly bad tasting.
That's a bummer.
Which is...
What's the point?
I could drink acetone in the lab. There's a reason we don't do that.
Yeah, right.
Because it's horrible. All right. Nice knowing you.
Yep. All right.
Here we go.
Good luck. Yeah. Taste is not that great. There are better ones. Well, I feel like it's starting to kind of like build up. Build up, right?
That one's building. And it's not a nice flavor. Mm. That is unpleasant. Yeah. Ooh.
I'm surviving, but that doesn't, seem too pleasant. Ooh. Hey, but 2 more to go.
Oh, it's almost there.
We're handling it, man.
I thought this would be a lot worse. My first time doing this too.
You're gonna do that. You're doing this another 19 times, right?
As many people as I can convince. Yeah. Okay. Shoot, we got 2 sauces and I got 3 questions. I gotta pick what I'm gonna do here. All right, how about this? We just hopefully are about to wrap up this quarantine, work from home as much as possible, COVID thing. Can't wait till we are done with it. We are vaccinated, so I'm feeling a little bit better already. Mm-hmm. Let me ask though, when you were home, did you pick up any new habits or skills or things that you're proud of during the year spent from home, basically?
Well, it was quite the journey to try to figure out how to effectively teach online. Just from I bought a big whiteboard and thought it was going to like stand in front of that whiteboard and then write on it, have a video camera set up. And, it was like trying to figure out where to put the whiteboard relative to the
glare.
The glare of the window. And then at one point I bought this little holder for my cell phone. So I thought, okay, maybe I'm just going to write on a piece of paper and I'm going to point it down at the thing. It's like, it didn't work. Eventually, one of my buddies in another university put me on this Galvin tablet. So this is basically you can write on it, and that's basically what I end up using. And I think it worked pretty well, but it's not perfect. There's still a bit glitchy, and it's not really. It doesn't quite have the tactile feel I like to have. So I don't know. I'm just looking forward to being back to teaching in classes.
So speaking of which, this fall. Basically, our whole department is almost 100% back in person. Is that right? Is there anything online?
I'm very proud that our department is leading the way there.
I'm excited to be back in person. There were some efficiencies for sure to teaching online. Like, really, there were some great things. But I think that it's tough to be in-person learning.
It's just so difficult. You're like just looking at your computer and like you see no one looking back at you. If there are people there, they've turned off their cameras. So they're not asking questions.
So disheartening to teach like that.
It's like the. Have you seen the movie Real Genius?
No.
You got to see it. Okay, so it's a 1985 or 86 or something movie. Val Kilmer. It's actually filmed at and based on Caltech. And there's this kid who's like he's like not 18. He's quite like a prodigy. He ends up going there. It's kind of like he's being kind of picked on and bullied. Anyway, the plot line of the story isn't interesting. or not. It's not the point. But what's cool is they show like this one class, like at the beginning of the semester, you got the professor up teaching, you got all the students in there taking notes, and then as the time goes on, it's the professor is up there teaching, and there's more and more people with just like little hand recorders. They're like recording the sound of what he's saying, and then by the end of the semester, the professor has been replaced with like a tape player. Well, the tape player is playing, and it's being recorded by a bunch of people that are not just a bunch of recorders that people left in there. So I kind of felt like that's what it was like.
Oh, yeah.
Like
that was
teaching
totally
online.
the Zoom experience.
Yeah.
Every day, fewer and fewer faces turned on. It's like, oh gosh, it's awful.
Yeah.
All right, we're almost there. We got Eye of the Scorpion. Hot sauce, which means
good.
it's a scorpion pepper, and I know that those are no joke. I've not eaten one of these before. But they are.
What's the
They
rating?
are not
Like
nice. This is 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Okay.
Oh gosh. Okay, scorpion pepper. And I went pretty wimpy on that last one, so I'm gonna do a little bit more on this one. Oh gosh,
I'm scared.
Don't come glopping out.
I'm scared. I'm still feeling the bomb.
That is like chunky. I have to like stir that up or something.
I'm gonna put the top back on and shake it a bit.
Yeah, I think I will. That is too thick.
All right. Oh, sorry, we can't do it. It's too viscous. Won't come out.
Cool. All right, here goes. I heard it sloshing around. I'm not seeing anything happen now.
You wanna,
All right, I'm gonna use a carrot.
okay.
Tactical carrot move here.
Yeah, it looks like that's a little plugged up there at the top.
All right, there you go. That is a dollop.
Okay.
There's a carrot
see
swabbing
if I
of
can-
hot sauce there. Your lid.
Use my fork.
Ooh, that one smells strong. That's a vinegary smell.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Cheers.
Don't breathe in.
Okay.
Oh gosh,
Well,
that one's bad.
That's not.
That one's bad. That's not gonna be
pleasant.
good.
It's not. It's kind of like the bomb. It's not that pleasant.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm not crying. It's still better than being at mile 23 of a marathon. So, I'm okay.
This is much more manageable. Having watched many, many episodes, I was pretty terrified for this.
I think those celebrities are just a bunch of.
We just did 9 out of 10,
they're
and that
wimps,
was
man.
doable. It's not pleasant. It's not a nice feeling in my mouth right now.
No, it's,
But it's
It's going
doable.
to take a while for this to clear my palate, but. Okay. I'm going to ask a question fast.
All right. I'll go with this one. What's your favorite class to teach and how come?
Thermodynamics.
All right, so thermodynamics is this brutally massive subject. It's so hard. It's so terrifying. And yet, I feel like the longer you're in it, the more you love it. Help me understand why that's your favorite class.
Well, it's just based on just simplicity. I mean, it's just a couple of very simple, three very simple laws. And everything else is just a mathematical derivation. I mean, the math is, it's not super easy, but it's not super hard either. And it's just truth. I mean, it's like, I don't know. Well, there's an elegance, there's a simplicity to it. My God, I am burning.
Explaining thermodynamics on the second to hottest wing. He's a machine.
Just the idea of talking about things like reversibility and spontaneity is so cool. I mean, no one gets it at first.
Yeah. I will say that. I've taken it. I took it twice as an undergrad. Back then, when I was a student, we did take thermo in our department. We also had to take it PChem 2, and that was basically like more thermo in chemistry department. And then I had to take it at least once or twice in grad school. And by the end, it was just then sort of starting to like make sense a little bit. So I get the time factor. Definitely helps it pick up over time. Repeated exposure, if you will.
Yeah, and since I've taught it now for like 8 times, I'm starting to get it. I mean, I had to reteach it myself when I first started teaching it. Yeah. Yes.
Oh God, that last one was pretty gnarly. It's still there. It's still in my mouth. Okay. Well,
can we do this? Or should we really do this?
We should.
Okay.
We should do it. We're there. The final wing. The last dab. This is from the hot ones themselves. This is the last dab Apollo. Wow. Okay. Here we go.
Oh, God.
Another thick one. I might need another tactical carrot here. All right. Here we go. Just smear of hot sauce on there. All right, my friend. Fate awaits.
Doing this because I love the department.
For love of department. Whew. That's no joke. No tears yet. But you did already? Holy smokes, he's in.
Sorry.
All right, here we go.
It's just like jumping off the high dive or something.
It doesn't taste bad, at least. Tastes kind of okay.
It tastes good.
It's very hot.
Mm-hmm. It's going to take a while to get over that. I probably put a very small dab, admittedly, but I don't care.
Whew. That was no joke. That's making my nose run for sure.
Dude, we made it.
We did it. 10 out of 10.
Okay. Another question?
One last question for you. Why should people think about studying material science at the University of Utah? What makes us unique? Why do you love it here?
Well, yeah, I love the area. Utah's a great place to live, and you know, especially a young person and people with a lot of energy and just a lot of socialize with a lot of friends and a lot of things places you can go. I'm sorry, I'm not going to be talking legibly for a while. Or coherently for a while. University Utah has it all. I mean, it's a fun place. You can go see, Division I NCAA sports. You can take classes in any major, science, engineering, medicine. I mean, we just cover everything. And then material science. There's so many aspects of it. You can maybe you're interested in biomaterials, or you're interested in polymers, or you're interested in ceramics. I mean, it's lots of things that you can. It's so important to understand how materials and structure, properties all interrelate. Dude, I don't care.
This is admirable. Look at you
I don't
go.
care about my major anymore. I'm done.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me, Mike. This was a hoot. This was pretty hot.
Yeah, thanks, Taylor.
That was no joke at the end there. We'll see what other faculty I can convince to do this with me.
Yeah, I'm going to look forward to watching other faculty do this. But thanks for doing it. And
hey, pleasure.
Yeah.
All right, man. See you around.
Yeah.